Welcome to the Spaghetti Sessions, an exploration of the wild and wacky sci-fi universe created by Sam Martin. I'm your host, Paula Talesian, and today we're interacting with one of the characters in this universe. It's Kooray, the alcoholic space cat. So, welcome, Kooray.
Hey, Paula, thanks for having me. I don't like the term alcoholic myself.
I'm sorry, and I had immediately forgotten your full name. So you want to share that with us?
My full name is Kooray Bibi Belfatek, but don't you worry about that.
Thank goodness, because I'm not going to remember that. Okay, so you don't like the word alcoholic, but you and gin have quite the relationship. What would you call yourself?
I would call myself enthusiastic about beverages.
Okay, that's definitely a good descriptor. I want to learn a little bit more about you, and I want to also talk about members of the gang. So what would you like to talk about first?
Oh, well, you don't need to worry. I'm not like Zula. I'm not going to pull you up if the conversation isn't going quite how I would like.
There's so much more to you than meets the eye because for the longest time, the only side we saw of you in the episodes and even on the lives is just your love of gin. And suddenly we're learning that there's a complicated and very interesting history to you. How does it feel to be giving us more of your backstory and your lore?
Well, to be honest, I think it is worth saying, first of all, that my love for gin is huge. So I can see how that's all that you learned from me for such a long time. Also, there is stuff in my past that even now I'm not allowed to talk about. There are some things where we have to wait for the time to run out before we can talk about those particular instances. But other than that, I'm a space cat. I'm not going to tell you how many lives I've already had, but it is more than one. I know it's not polite, and I know I don't look it, but I've had more than one. And that stretches back a long time. So between the amount of time I've been alive, the amount of gin I've drunk, it's a lot to remember. Like I know the pyramids, they were kind of my fault, you know, but but some of the other stuff I just don't really remember.
The pyramids were kind of your fault. That's is that confirmation that aliens built the pyramids?
Well, I'm not really sure if I should be talking about this, but look, I'm sure you know that there's some crazy things that seem to happen in the past of this planet, and I'm just saying it's not the first time I've been here. I think if you have a look at some old paintings, some pictures, check out some of the images on some ancient buildings, it'll all start to make sense. I mean, I'm not saying it's a big conspiracy. I'm not saying any of you poor little humans should start to be worried. I'm just saying you're not alone, and it's not always for the best.
I was just about to take comfort in the you were not alone bit, and then you you just said it's not always for the best.
Well, when I came here with the whole Egyptian thing, I was barely more than a kitten. It was a very long time ago. But we were exploring. We were exploring on behalf of another species. And the good thing is that their intentions might not have been great, but nothing really bad happened. Well, not that time anyway. The other times I can't really talk about. But the good thing is that that species is all but exterminated now. Isn't that great?
Thank you. I guess it is great.
Oh, I can't take credit for it. Again, I can't talk about exactly how that species got exterminated, but that was for the best.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Let's talk about some things that are a little bit more recent, like Bletton. Before Bletton got married, he had quite the thing for you. How did you manage him?
Through patience and threats of violence mostly, and excessive drinking on my part. Fortunately, that is old history now. I'm very happy for Blettin. I am a little disgusted in Raz, actually. My opinion of them definitely dropped when they got married. I honestly thought Raz was better than that, but there you go. But yeah, I coped with it the same anyone would cope with a poor, stupid, ignorant little creature taking a shine to me. I mean, I can understand it. I was familiar, I was safe, I was too friendly to start off with. That was clearly my problem. But the real problem is Bledden was just too stupid to understand the word no. And what am I to do? I didn't really want to kill them. I mean, I have killed for less, but again, that's another story, and I'm not really sure I'm allowed to talk about any of that. So yeah, I mean, I probably should have thought of pairing Blooding off with someone a long time ago. I could have saved myself a lot of agony.
This is true. This is true. Marriage has been good for Bletton. Let's talk about Zula because Zula is your bestie, or at least Zula has told me that they are your bestie. What's the story there?
Well, we've known each other a very too long, if I'm honest, too long. And I may have promised some people that I would look after Zula. I mean, I don't know why. Is it my expression? Do I have an appearance that makes it look like I want to do this? That I want to look after a stupid space chicken and an overconfident space monkey? No, I've got a good resting bitch face. I've got a face that says, "Don't fuck with me." And yet here I am being nursemaid to the dregs of the galaxy. Uh, so, yeah, I think my glass needs a top up. That really took it out of me.
I can believe it. It's almost like you're like security or something for the gang on Earth, and
Shh,
not by
shh, shh. No
choice.
one said that. Shh, 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 shh,
Okay,
shh.
sorry, sorry.
No one said that. No one said that.
No one said that. All right, so we're gonna roll back to the question that I'm sure everybody who's familiar with you guys will be asking. What's with Uzed?
Ugh. See, this is what I mean about how I've become nursemaid to the freaks of the galaxy. Look, I don't know how much you know about space parasites, probably not very much, but it was my misfortune to reap some of the benefits of space parasites some time ago. Again, the whole thing I can't really talk about very much. But yeah, it means that our paths have crossed before, and they're called space parasites for a reason, you know. I know it sounds like a slur, but it is actually factually accurate. They are parasites.
I'm reminded of the fictional Goa'uld from Stargate, which were parasites that would infest humans and control the body, the host body. Is that kind of what Uzed is?
Kind of, yeah. The thing is that they implant their young and then they remain attached to their host, which isn't quite as gruesome as it sounds. If you can cope with it, you get better reflexes, you get all sorts of benefits to being attached to a parasite right up until their offspring decide to burst out of your body.
How did you survive? Because it sounds like people.
9 lives, baby, 9 lives.
Oh, right, of course, of course. We are so unlucky. Humans only have the one.
Yeah, that's why I think Uzed being here is probably not great for humanity. I mean, there are laws that say Uzed shouldn't have been here, which, you know, I was very strict upon when I first found Uzed. But I'll be honest, I'm not sure Uzed is the sharpest tool in the box, you know? At the moment, they seem happy with DC. I'm hoping for another Raz Bletton happy ending here, and then they'll get a couple more people off my back.
What are your thoughts about the human or living in the human's household? How has that been for you?
Well, she doesn't make a bad drinking buddy, you know, as long as you don't have your hopes too high for intelligent conversation. And she always has gin on hand. I can't argue with that. Personally, I have no idea how she's put up with Zula for so long. But again, all the time Zula's with her, I don't have to deal with them.
Makes life a little easier for you.
Yeah, all in all, I guess I'm just hoping that everybody in this house gets paired off, so I'm left in peace to drink my gin.
So you are an inadvertent matchmaker just for your own for your own comfort.
That's why I do the agony aunt columns.
Oh, this is true. You are full of good advice
Yeah,
and
yeah,
fantastic drinks recipes.
you better believe it.
The variety is shocking. What's something that you would love to talk about but nobody's ever asked you?
Do you know what? No one ever asked me about my kittenhood, like my first one. It was a very long time ago. I barely remember it myself. But I think it's because there's so much other juicy stuff going on. Everybody's always happy to ship me off with somebody else or hear about some of my Black Ops past. But all in all, I had just a very simple kittenhood back home. Just, tiny amounts of gin occasionally, lots of fresh air. It was nice.
Do you have siblings?
Oh, wow. I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about that.
Okay. I was just thinking as you were talking about kittenhood that cats here on Earth, I mean, they're Earth cats and not space cats, but cats here on Earth usually have multiple births in one litter. So it just occurred to me that maybe space cats have multiple kittens in every litter.
There are a lot of classified records that cover this, I'm afraid. It's very complicated. I'll be honest, my mother has made it very complicated, but I can't talk about that either.
You can't talk about your mother.
No.
What about I mean, do you do the typical male-female pairings? Like Earth typical, I mean, not intergalactic. So do you have a father?
Well, somewhere out there, I guess. We're very matrilineal. Is that the word?
Hmm.
We're all about the girls, isn't it?
That's the
So,
way to be.
yeah. So, yeah, my mother is in charge of like our family and lots of other things as well. That's why I can't really talk about it. Classified.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Let's talk about Dead Carl for a minute. Dead Carl is not an alien. How do you feel about him?
Ravenous mostly. Look, again, he's good company. He can take a drink. But sometimes I don't know what it is about me. I don't need to hear people's life stories. People get a bit weepy after they've had a drink or two. Some people can't take it as well as others. But DC is okay. I just don't need little Carlito's attentions too. Do you know what I mean? What is it with you humans that can't take no? I just want to have a drink and a chat. He
Yeah,
behaves, DC.
it's a human failing. I guess even in death, Dead Carl is very human. On a lot of the lives that you've been on, people have been ravenous for what they call Kipo, which is a Kooray plus Tipo sort of match. And you've been very adamant that that is never going to happen. And I'm certainly not an advocate of forcing a perceived pairing on people, although I will have been part of the machinations behind Bletton and Raz. What do you feel about the Kipo sort of idea? And what do you think about Tipo in general?
Well, since I've been on this planet, someone or other has been trying to pair me off with someone else. This is why I don't understand it. I'm the least caring person I know. But it maybe that's why people like it. They think they're inflicting my pain on somebody else. Usually I can get on board with that sort of thing. But I don't know. It's just an obsession with you humans. But as far as Tipo goes, Tipo is pleasant enough, a little too depressing for my liking. But very much a little sister to me. I care for her the same way that I care for Zula, which, surprises me quite often. I don't think there's ever going to be any romance there. I don't think there's ever going to be any romance anywhere, as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you how many lives I've used, but I've used enough, you know? I want to have a little life to myself now. Just me, Mr. Gordon, and Miss Sapphire. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Your attitude reflects the attitudes of women at a certain age when they've already done the kids and marriage and putting their life on hold, and suddenly they find themselves in their 50s or, early 60s being free, and they're done, right? No more of any of this crap. So I resonate with you a lot in that area too. But yeah, if you had to give somebody advice, what advice would you give? And I know it depends on the circumstances, so this is a very open-ended question, but what would be advice you'd love to give to somebody if the timing was right and the circumstances were right? Let's say that I came to you and said, Kooray, I'm having issues, my life isn't going the way I want. What advice do you have for me, another hopeless, hapless human?
Well, there is a lot of advice out there that is deeply cliched, but actually really works. I think the most important thing is if you really are like me, is you just gotta say fuck it a bit more often. You know, I know that for a long time, all my answer to all of this would have been chuck it in the fuck it bucket. But you know what? It's still true. It is never too late to tell someone to fuck off. It is never too late to start over and be true to your fucking self. It is never too late to put yourself fucking first. And that's what I think is very important. And it hurts me that a lot of you don't know it yet. But that's also why I find it so hard to believe that so many people come to me looking for help. Just fuck off already. But it does mean that I give great advice.
It does mean that you give great advice. You're not worried about sugarcoating things or trying to be kind. You're just basically laying it out as you see it. I don't like the phrase telling it like it is because that's usually and somebody's excuse for being an asshole. And I don't think you're an asshole. I think you just don't have time for nuance. Is that sort of
Look,
correct?
in my heart of hearts, I'm really a hippie. I adore peace and love. I want nothing more than everybody to be happy and everything to be peaceful. But the problem is that you can only be love if everybody else thinks the same. And until that time happens, you need someone who can smack somebody in the fucking mouth when they need to. And that's me.
And that is you. Yes, yes. So before we wrap up, what is something that you enjoyed from this past year that really stuck out to you and that you'd like to sort of draw our attention to?
Well, I would say in this last year, I think you've all started to learn a lot more about me. I mean, my gin drinking is still terribly significant.
Okay, so what are you looking forward to in the next few months? Because with your backstories and your lore being shared through Intergalactic Geographic, we have throughout the stories, especially the recent storylines since the early summer, we've had these much richer storylines for you and the rest of the gang. What are you looking forward to coming up in the next few months and then into 2026?
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is a little bit of goddamn peace and quiet. We've had Uzad rock up. We've had all sorts of shit going on. A bit of peace wouldn't be bad, would it? But as usually happens, I suspect we're not going to get much of that. Uh, I'm pretty sure that Raz fixed it so that if anyone else is going to drop by, we'll get some warning, but I don't know. In the meantime, I'm kind of just hoping that I can just settle in with some gin.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But I want to pull out that little thread of anyone else coming by. Are there others potentially who could come by? Or should we be worried or plan a
Oh,
party?
you should always be worried. Like I said, there's plenty of evil people. The galaxy is a terrible place. You shouldn't be leaving this planet. You can't cope with it. You can't cope with the evil you've got here. You're not going to last 5 seconds out there. Yeah, things could be horrible. No matter how bad you think they are, believe me, they could be a lot worse. And if that's not an uplifting thought, then frankly, there's something wrong with you. But yeah, I presume you're talking about the Empress. Oh, with any luck, she'll leave us the hell alone. But the way my luck's been, she'll drop by. But I'm not sure I can talk about that.
All
The
right.
Empress is a whole other thing. We have a lot of history.
Fair. Fair. Okay, well then we will leave things right here. I want to thank you for your time today, Kure, as we record episode 3 of the Spaghetti Sessions. Thank you for taking your time away from your favorite gins to talk with us.
It's been a pleasure. It's been so much fun. I can't wait to have a drink with you, Paula. Cheers!
Cheers. And thank you for listening to episode 3 of the Spaghetti Sessions. To listen to more episodes, go to your favorite podcast app or Spotify or find episodes on ZoolaMonkey.com. We'll catch you in the next episode.